and we'll get started. So let's all just take a comfortable seat, make sure you're muted. And since we want to stretch out those hips, let's all take a wide seat today, right? And you could even sit in Tadasana if you wanted to, just start that stretch. Otherwise, take any sort of cross-legged stretch that feels nice. And if you're really tight, you might want to sit on a blanket or a block and let your knees just come down towards the floor. Close your eyes and begin to deepen your breath. Relax your jaw and space between your eyes. Let your tongue fall to the bottom of your mouth and start to feel space in between each bone in your spine. If you're holding on to tension in your hips, you might direct your attention in there and see if you can just release that. Let go of it, let your knees sink down just a little bit farther. You can imagine guiding your breath down into your glutes and your hips. Bring your navel back towards your spine ever so slightly, just to give yourself a little bit of support in your low back. Not to the point where you're sucking it in or you can't breathe, just a really gentle squeeze of those abdominal muscles. A couple more deep breaths here. And then, if you'd like to set an intention for your practice this morning, go ahead and bring your hands to your heart, a little space in between to hold that intention there. With your next inhale, breathe it in. And exhale out. Let's open the eyes. Let's start with a couple of shoulder rolls. We'll just stay seated here. Just bring your shoulders up and back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Pull your collarbones towards each other in the front. Just go a couple of times from front to back, and then we'll switch directions. I'm stiff kind of all over. And then let's switch. So go from back to front. I have been doing a lot of drawing lately, much more than I've been hunched over at my drafting table. So this feels really nice. It's a different sort of hunch than when I'm just sitting at my computer. All right, then from here, we're just gonna take a really gentle twist, but let's switch whatever leg is in front. Let's switch that. So the other leg gets a chance to open up. We're just gonna take the arms and just twist over to one side and then just gently place them down on the ground. So it's not a big, huge twist, just sort of waking up the back. You can look back over your left shoulder. Keep your shoulders pressed down and away from your ears. One more big breath here, see if you can get a little deeper into your twist. And then let's switch sides. Hands come opposite side, gaze over your right shoulder. If you start to notice, like I just did, I feel like I'm squeezing the muscles in my hips, bringing my knees up. See if you can release that tension. And then come back to center. Before we get standing, just one more quick stretch, Tadasana. Let's bring the feet together. Let the knees come down to the sides. Just a gentle forward fold. Remember, we're reaching past the feet. Neck is long. And then when you reach your edge there, Go ahead and let the spine round, drop the head down. Breathe into any tightness. Let your back feel broad. Find that space across the shoulder blades. Hips opening up, knees sinking down. And then let's come out the same way we went in. So first extend the spine long and then sit up. And we'll come over on your hands and knees, find your tabletop. I'm gonna go ahead and take off my sweatshirt. See how many layers I take off today. So make your way into tabletop. If you weren't here last week, I'm still dealing with a forearm and wrist injury. So I might have to modify some things, but we'll see. So in your tabletop, let's move into cow, drop the belly, gaze comes up, and then move into your cat. Press into the ground, wide across your back. Shins press into the floor. And then switch, cow pose. And cat. Do that. Let's do that 2 more times. Gaze lifts. And then cat. Last time. Drop the belly. And cat pose. And here, pause in your cat pose. Press into the ground. Shoulders away from the ears. Wide across the back. Activate those lat muscles. Navel towards the spine. And then release. Before we come up, let's just take a minute to stretch out our wrists and our forearms. Mine is feeling a lot better, but still pretty tight. So let's just do some quick circles with the wrists. And then switch the opposite direction. And then go ahead and extend your right arm long. Take your fingers and pull your fingers, so your fingers towards the ground, pull your fingers towards you. That stretch in your forearm. Stretch across the bottoms of the fingers too. And then we'll switch sides. So left arm straightens, fingertips towards the ground. Pull your fingers back towards you. Feel that stretch in your wrist and your forearm. And then let's do the opposite stretch. We'll come down onto the tops of our hands, straighten the arms, and you can tuck your toes. Just sit back a little tiny bit. Don't have to move very much to feel that pressure, that stretch now along the top part of your forearm. I should do this more often, really. This is an area of my body that I tend to neglect. I don't think about my forearms very often until I have one of them. And we use them all the time. All right, so let's shake that out just for a quick second. I'm going to take my socks off and we'll meet up in down dog. So whenever you're ready, lift your hips up. Find that down dog. Pedal your feet. Sometimes I even like to sway my inner side body too. It's kind of like when we wag our tail. Switch sides, left heel comes down, right heel lifts, and just shift your weight over towards the right a little bit. You can play with that, see if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, that's all right. You can just walk your dog. Think about lifting your hips up, press through your hands, and just find stillness in the posture. So really take it back, press those hips back, lengthen through your shoulders, drop your head. You might even shake it yes and no. Having the big breaths here. And then let's walk all the way up to the top of the mat. And hang out in your forward fold for just a second. Any form of forward fold that you like. Maybe you just want to sway back and forth. Maybe you want to take it a little bit wider, more like a rag doll. I find oftentimes if my glutes are tight or my hips are tight and my low back is tight also, right? Because all that stuff is connected. So really feel that stretch in your low back. And then gently bend the knees. Let's roll up one vertebra at a time. Come all the way to standing. Surya Namaskar A, hands to heart. Stand in Tadasana, one big breath in here. And exhale. We'll take it slow to start. Reach out and up. Oh, my whole body's just popping. And flat back, forward fold, all the way down. Halfway lift. Plant those hands, start slow, step back, find your plank. Check out that alignment. Are your shoulders over your wrists? Pointer fingers pointing directly forward, making an L shape with your thumbs. Then I'm going to drop my knees to protect my wrist and my forearm. You can do that, or you can just lower all the way down from your plank down to the ground. Let's take a little cobra here. Squeeze those glutes, lift the knees off the ground, squeeze your shoulder blades together, squeeze your elbows together, and then release. We'll press back up to your plank, and then lift those hips for down dog. Deep breath in and out. Let's walk our feet back to the top of the mat. Nice straight legs. Forward fold. Reverse lift all the way up. Hands to heart. Arms out and up. Reach up. Forward fold all the way down. Halfway lift. Plant those hands. Step back. Find your plank. And then make your way down to the mat. If you're on your knees, rules still apply about squeezing those elbows in. Find your cobra pose. And release. Tuck the toes. Press back up your plank. And find down dog. Inhale. And exhale. Straight leg walk all the way to the top. Forward fold. Rise, lift all the way up. Hands come to heart. Little variation here, arms out and up. Stay standing, interlace the fingers, and then let's find a little sort of crescent moon shape. Reach your fingers towards the right, hips towards the left. Find that stretch in your side body. And then back to center, opposite side, hips to the right, fingers to the left. Reach back to center and flat back, forward fold. If you're ready for jump backs, go ahead, do that. Find your vinyasa, whatever feels good for your body this morning. But when we come down, rather than cobra pose, let's just try a quick Sphinx since we're changing up this round a little bit. Sphinx pose, forearms down to the ground, running parallel like train tracks. Knees are lifted, tops of the feet press into the ground, shoulders away from the ear. Squeeze your glutes. Little back bend, a little bit more than cobra. And then release. Hands come back towards your chest. Press up your plank, back through down dog. Inhale and exhale. You're ready to jump forward. High on the toes. Bend the knees. And to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Reverse lift. Rise all the way up. Hands to heart. Let's take that variation again. Arms up. Hands reach towards the right, hips to the left. Back to center. Hands to the left, hips to the right. back to center. Flat back, forward fold all the way down. This time move through your vinyasa, halfway lift. You want to jump back, go for it. If you're ready for up dog, go for that. Yogi's choice. If you're coming up to that up dog, really squeeze those glutes to protect your back. And then roll over the tops of your feet. Find down dog. Breath in and out. Do one more slow like this. Make your way to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Lift all the way up. Hands to heart. Hands reach up. Hips to the left, fingers to the right. Find that side stretch. You might even feel it in the outer part of your left hip. Back to the center, and then opposite side. Back to center. Flat back, forward fold all the way down. Move through your vinyasa. Meeting down dog, we'll take 3 big breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Every exhale, see if you can press back a little bit more. Heels towards the ground a little bit more. Inhale, exhale. You can make it audible. Inhale and exhale. High on the toes, bend the knees. Walk or hop to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Hang out here in that forward fold one more time. You can even take your hands if you want to. I'm going to try this. I'm going to take my feet out a little bit, more like shoulder width, to get that forearm stretch one more time. I'm going to walk my hands underneath my feet. So my palms are up, tops of the hands are on the mat. I'm using the weight of my feet to press into my hands and get that same kind of forearm stretch that we got before. You can even wiggle your toes around and sort of massage the base of your hand. You can get your hands under there. And then release. Wherever you are, bend your knees, roll up, one vertebra at a time. Come to standing, hands to heart, close your eyes. Let's take 2 deep breaths here. Remind yourself of that intention that you set. Breathe it in and exhale it out. If you can, my allergies are so crazy right now, I can barely breathe. Arms out and up. Flat back, forward fold all the way down. Jump or step back. Plank pose and move through your flow. Hips lift, down dog. Right leg lifts. Bend and spin your hip open. Let's hang out here for just a second. Press that left heel down. Really wind your right leg back around like you're going to tap your toe back behind you. Feel the stretch in your quad, the inside of your hips. Then extend your leg high. Step it through in between the hands. Let's lower the back knee. Hang out here for just a quick second. Feel that stretch in the back of the right hamstring, front of the left quad and your left hip flexor. And let's find sort of a modified lizard pose. So we're going to stay with the knee down, forearms down to the ground. Try not to let your right knee come out too far to the side, still keeping the hips relatively square. Find that stretch in the front of your left hip and all around the hip joint here in your right leg. And then we'll lift the torso. Left hand comes to the left edge. This time, walk your right foot out to the side. Right hand comes to the right thigh. Lean into the left hand. Press the right leg open. So you're still getting a stretch in that front hip flexor. You're really reaching forward. You're pressing, getting that rotation in your right hip too. And then release that. Walk the right foot back in. Let's sit our hips back. So you're not going to sit all the way back on your heels, still staying kind of high. Just try to bring your chest down towards your thigh, right toes towards the sky. Find that stretch in your right hamstring. Take a moment to notice your hips. Are you tipped over to one side? Try to stay square. Center your weight. And then one more time, we're going to come forward. This time we're going to put our weight into our left hand again. Bend the left leg and reach back for those toes with the right hand. So it's a little bit of a twist. Nice stretch in that left quad. Still think about bringing your right knee in towards your chest. Breathe into that. It's a big stretch with that twist. And then gently release the foot back to the ground. Hands come down to the floor. Tuck the left toes, press back, pyramid pose. So pyramid pose is another pose with the square hips. So we're not twisting, we're relatively square here, chest coming down towards the right thigh. Left heel presses down towards the ground. Stay here. And let's bend the front knee. We're going to rotate over towards the left for Skandasana. Skandasana, open hip pose. I know I'm backwards, but we've all done this one before. You can keep your hands on the ground if you want, or if you want to try to find that balance, bring your hands to heart center. Left toes are high. Sink down deep towards the mat. Find your breath. Then we'll release the hands back down, or you can keep them at your heart if you want that strength challenge to shift your weight without help of your hands. I'm going to put my hands down, and I'm going to walk over to the opposite side. Skandasana on the left. You can use the back of your left tricep to help open up that left hip. Right toes towards the sky. Find your breath. Find ease in the posture. And then hands come down. Let them help you rotate back over to the left. Drop your right knee down. Hang out in this pose. Just for a quick second, let your body adjust. Feel that stretch in your right hip flexor this time. Left hamstring. And we'll find that modified lizard pose. Both forearms come down. Think about squeezing your left knee back in towards your body. You might feel your abs engage here as well. Bring your navel towards the spine. And then chest lifts. Right hand to the right edge of the mat. Walk your left foot out to the left edge. Weight comes into the right hand. Left palm presses into the left thigh. Open up the left hip. Still stretching out in front of that right hip flexor. Breathe into that opening. And then walk the foot back to center. Sit your hips back. Left toes come high. Chest towards the thigh. So we're not really thinking nose to knee. We're still extending the spine long. Not thinking about just trying to hunch over. Try to find length. Guide your breath towards the back of your left hamstring. Check out your hips. Are they square or are you leaning towards the right? And then weight's gonna come forward and we're gonna find that twist again. So we're gonna reach back with the left hand, lift the right leg, try to find those toes. Big, big stretch, right quad. Find that strength in your left glute, left hip. And then release the foot back down. Hands come down, press up and back for pyramid pose. Chest towards the thigh. Trying to get your right heel down, left leg as straight as you can without hyperextending your knee. And then we'll rotate over towards your right, drop down Skandasana on the left. Find that opening in your hips again. And press into that left leg, open up through the hip. One more big breath on this side. And then we'll switch over to the opposite side. You can always put a block or something underneath you if you feel like it's too hard to hold yourself up. You can always put a little prop under you so you can really focus on the stretch. Then we're just going to rotate again towards the right. Hands come down, step back. Oh boy. And find downward dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. This time, left leg lifts. Bend and spin your hip open. Try to put your right heel down. Great. Here he is. Yep. Yeah, it's so helpful, JJ. I know. Left toes. Try to find the ground. And then we're going to, extend the leg. And then step it through in between the hands. Stay in that lunge for just a second. Feel the stretch in your left hip. I know I feel it. And then lift the chest. Rising to high lunge. Boys, please turn the volume down. Stay low in the legs. Feel that stretch in the front of your right hip flexor this time. And from here, bring your weight forward. Find a little bit of balance here over your left leg. Then we're going to lift up, into warrior three. You can have your hands wherever you like. They can be out like airplane arms. It can be out behind you. Hands to heart. It can reach out in front. Whatever feels good for you. And then lower the torso. Lift the leg. Standing split. Then we're going to bend the knee and tuck it behind. Just tap those toes behind you, kind of like a queen curtsy squat, right? And then lift the leg, extend. Bend that knee, tap the toe, lift. Bend the knee, tap the toe. Last time, lift. And then bend the leg. And we're going to sit down. So come down onto your right hip. Take a second to settle in. You want to put your weight equally in both sit bones. Bring that knee into your chest. Just start by bringing it in before we start the twist. You already will feel that stretch in your left hip, outer part of your left hip. And then we'll go ahead, bring that knee in, start to rotate your torso to the left. Take any arm variation you like. Left hand comes back behind. Keep your chest tall, spine long. Look back behind you. And then release that twist. We're gonna unwind the legs. We're gonna find that Z pose. So the right leg is gonna come back behind. Left foot is out in front. So weight's more in the left hip. Take a moment just to settle in with this pose first. Hands come in front of you just a little bit, and we're gonna lift the leg up and behind. And when you do that, your weight will come over sort of diagonally to the left. And then drop it down. Lift and drop. Lift and drop. This time lift, rotate that hip open, bring the toe in front. Then lift, rotate, comes back behind. 2 more times, lift, rotate, tap in front, lift, rotate, set down behind. Bring the leg forward. Feel that rotation all around the hip joint. This time when we bring it forward, sit your weight back a little bit, grab a hold of your ankle or your foot, whatever you can, bring that leg straight up in front of you. Use your arms to bring it towards your chest. We're trying to have a nice straight spine. And then release. We'll rock ourselves forward. Place your hands down, step back, find plank pose, and move through your vinyasa. Press up, find down dog. Good breath in and out. I'm trying to think which leg we're on now. Is it left or right? I think it's right. Right leg lifts. Bend and spin that hip open. Stand the right leg high. And then step it through in between your hands. Pause here. Let your left hip open up. Find steadiness in your right leg. And then chest lifts. Arms reach up. High lunge. Couple of breaths here. And then fold over that front leg. So sink down just a little bit more. Find your strength in that right leg. We're going to move into warrior 3. So see, maybe this time we can do it without falling over. Flat back here. Strong in that right leg. Really root down through your foot into the core. And then forward fold. Left leg stays high. And we'll take those 3 tap downs. So bend the left knee and then bend your right knee so that you can tap your left toes back down and across behind you. Then lift. Tap. And lift. Tap. And lift. Last lift here. Give a little extra lift in that left leg. And then bring it back down behind you. Sit down gently onto your left hip and then square yourself off. Take a moment to pull your right knee into your chest and feel the stretch in your right outer hip. And then move into your twist. So take your right hand back behind, any arm variation you like. Work with that twist. Then release. And I'm going to spin around here so I've got this right. Right leg is going to be in front this time for that Z pose. Left foot comes back behind. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands forward just a little bit. And we're going to take 3 little leg lifts. So lift the left leg and then release. And lift. and release. Lift and release. And now we'll bring that toe forward in front of us. So lift the leg, then rotate through your hip, tap the toe in front. Lift the leg, rotate through your hip, leg comes back behind. Bring that weight forward and to the right, lift the left leg around. And then bring it back behind. One more time. Bring it around and tap. And lift behind. This time we bring it all the way around and forward. And then extend the leg. One more big breath here. And release. From here, let's move into pigeon pose. So I want to switch legs. So let's move the left leg in front. So for pigeon pose, we're going to bring the left leg in front, left shin is parallel to the front of your mat as you can get it. Weight comes forward and then bring your right leg back behind you. You're trying to keep your hips square. So you see, I always fuss around in this pose a little bit. I walk my back leg back, and then I open my hip out, bringing the leg that's forward, bringing my knee out to the side. If you can, stay up for a moment. Feel a stretch in the outside of your left hip, front, your right hip flexor here. Sit up nice and tall. And then begin to fold forward over your front leg. Any amount that you can. Really open up through your glute. With every breath, see if you can relax that tension. The muscle just wants to grip like a fist. See if you can allow it to release so that you can find a sense of ease in the posture. You might be on your forearms, that's okay. Maybe you can get your chest all the way down. This is a really good pose for just like chilling and reading a book or watching television or something. You just kind of hang out here. And the longer you stay, the more open you'll become. But it can be uncomfortable. It can bring up different feelings or thoughts. It can make you feel frustrated. Maybe it just feels like release. One of those postures that can sort of do lots of different things. One more big breath here. And use your hands to help guide you back up. We're going to lift your right toes. This time we're going to reach with the same side arm. So right arm comes back to that foot. Maybe you want to grab the top of your foot, pull it in towards your thigh. Maybe you're feeling really flexible and you can get your arm around into the crook of your arm. I'm not feeling that flexible, so I'm going to stay with my palm on my foot. Then release the foot back down, hand comes back down. We're just going to swing that leg around for a quick forward fold in Janu Shirshasana. So the left leg doesn't move too much. You still have the left leg bent, knee to the side. Right leg is in front of you, toes towards the sky. Sit up nice and tall. And then reach forward over the leg. Reach for your foot. Maybe you can get your toes. Maybe you just grab your calf. Work with where your body is today. And again, think about lengthening through the spine, not rounding, really reaching your head towards your foot. Maybe you can relax the head and neck. You might even feel this stretch in your shoulder blades too. You can take a moment to sort of reach back with your back body. You feel that stretch. You can still hold on to your foot. So it becomes more active. Round your spine. Feel that stretch across your shoulder blades. And then relax back down. Just feel the difference. And then we'll switch sides. So reach forward and up. We'll move into pigeon on the right side. So bend your right leg, shin parallel to the top of your mat, swing your left leg back around, shift your weight. We're gonna come onto the top of your left foot, right? Then you might wiggle around a little bit so you can reach that left leg back a little bit more. Open up your right hip a little bit more. Take a second here with your chest high. Sink your hips down. One more breath here and fold over. Shoulders away from the ears. And then release over that front leg. You might be more flexible or less flexible on this side. No reason to judge it, just notice it. Take care of your front knee also. Make sure that you're not putting any unneeded strain or pressure on the knee. You might have to sit up and readjust. That's all right. Maybe you need to bring your chest back up a little bit, whatever you need to do. I can't wait till we do this in person again, and I'm going to come lay down on each and every one of you. It's going to be awesome. You're going to hate it, but you're secretly going to love it. Another big breath here. Then press into your hands. Let them push you back up. We're going to bend the left leg and reach back up and over with the left arm for those left toes. Or maybe you're feeling more flexible on this side. Maybe you can squeeze it in a little bit more. Find your breath. Always check in with those shoulders. Try to keep them away from your ears. They always want to come up, at least mine do. Then let's drop that foot back down. Maybe I should say set it back down instead of drop. Swing your leg around. And we'll find Shasana on this side. So reach forward with your chest. Toes towards the sky. Find length in the back of your left leg. You might even feel that stretch in your lumbar spine too. Once you settle in, let your head and neck be ready. Do the passive stretch for a moment, and then we'll find that active pull again. See the difference, feel that difference. So find that active stretch by really grabbing hold of your foot. Lift your heel off the ground and round your back. Totally different kind of stretch here. And then release. Just melt forward. And then reach forward and up. And shake that out. We'll do one more like open hip stretch, and then we'll go on to our back and we'll find some supine stretches and some leg baby. So let's find that wide scrum pose. Just wherever your hips will take you. Sit up nice and tall. You might even take your hands back behind you and prop yourself up. Feel what that feels like. If you find a difficult position to get in and keep your spine straight, you could use your hands. You can also elevate your sits bones. You could sit on a pillow or a blanket. My dog is being ridiculous playing with his bone right now. It's very funny. Sit up nice and tall. And let's start just by walking our hands forward. just enough that you start to feel that stretch. If you're really open, maybe you're just flat down on the ground already. I need a little while to warm up before I can make that happen for myself. Breathe into that opening. See if you can relax into it. If you have that block, maybe you want to put it under your forehead so that you can find a more passive stretch. Always thinking about length in the spine, right? It's okay to have a little bit of a round, but we just don't want to hunch. No hunching. Think about extending your legs out to the sides and extending your spine long in front of you. Oh, good. Here you come. And then reach forward, bring the chest up. Oh, yeah, great, thanks. And then we're going to take our left arm up and over, find your right toes. So reach over. Oh my goodness. Let your right arm sort of tuck underneath you and so you're gazing under your left arm. And feel that stretch in your right hamstring and your left side body. And then bring your right arm out, reach for those toes and rotate your chest forward so it's more nose to knee this time. And then we'll come up and switch sides. Left arm tucks under, right arm reaches up and over. Trying to find those left toes. And then reach your left hand for your left foot and rotate your chest over so you've got more of that nose to knee position. Chest lifts. Shake your legs, bring them out in front of you, and then we'll rotate, lay down on our back. This is where my dog comes and lays on top of me. I feel quite certain he's staring at me like he's thinking about it. So on your back, just for a second, take your feet wide to the edges of the mat. Let your knees come towards each other. Let your muscles release a little bit. And then walk your feet back in about hips width. Start by bringing your right leg up towards the ceiling. Give yourself a couple little ankle rolls in one direction and the other direction. And then if you're ready, if you feel warm enough, and if you want to, you can extend your left leg long, left toes towards the ceiling. Think about pulling your right leg in towards you while still keeping your shoulders relaxed. And then bend your knee, pull it in towards your right armpit. Really feel that stretch towards your glute and the back of your hamstring here. And then we'll bring the leg across with that leg baby pose. So your right knee is pointed out towards the right, and your left foot, still your right foot, the bottom of your right foot is pointed towards the left. You're gonna wrap your left arm around. You might need to bring your chest up so that you can put your foot in the crook of your arm, right? And then we're just gonna rock our leg baby in a not so relaxed position. You might need to bring your head and neck up, that's fine. Wrap your arms around your leg. Rock it back and forth in your hip socket. And now the dog is going to chew the tripod, so that's awfully nice. JJ, come on. We'll rock your leg baby back and forth. And then let's release. Bring your leg back up towards the top. And take your right hand to the inside of your right ankle and guide your right leg open. I'm really thinking about rotating my hips so much so that my right toes are touching the floor and my right heel is towards the ceiling. So I'm working on that external rotation, sort of tucking my hips under to allow that openness to happen. It's a big rotation. It's something that I've worked on for a very long time. I have super open external rotation in my hips. Not everybody does, so you just work at your edge. Know that that's just fine. And then I want you to see if you can let go of your leg and then guide it up all by itself back up to the center. Then bend your knee and let's take a spinal twist over towards the left. Might get a little pop in your back. Let it be really passive here. You don't have to press it down too hard. And down back to center. And then let's bring the knees back to center and we'll lift the left foot up. My husband must be back from shopping, so the dog's gonna bark. It's always a fun way to end class. Give yourself a few ankle rotations. One direction, then the next. And then if you're ready, you can extend your right leg long on the floor, right toes towards the ceiling. Try to keep your shoulders down. Pull your left leg towards your chest. And then bend your knee. Bring your hands to the top of your shin. Guide that knee down towards your armpit. Feel that stretch right along the back of your hamstring into your glute. Then we'll move our leg baby over to this side. I'm not sure how well I can do it on this side with this injury on my arm. So you're going to bring your left knee to the left, bottom of your left foot towards the right. I'm going to try to guide your right elbow pit around your right foot. I'm surprised I can do it, so that's pretty good. And then just rock your leg baby back and forth. You might feel like this side's tighter or maybe it's more open. It's fine, nice stretch all around your hip joint. And then release. Guide your left leg back up towards the ceiling. Take your left hand to the inside of your left ankle. And let your left leg come down towards the side. See if you can find that external rotation on this side. Left toes towards the ground, left heel towards the ceiling. And if you're pressing your hips down, your sits bones down, you'll even feel that stretch on your right hip flexor too. Breathe into that opening. And then release the hand from the leg and let your leg come all the way up. And then you're going to bend the knee and cross it over for a twist. So bring it over across the body. Let your knee try to find the floor. If you can, you want to keep both shoulder blades on the ground. It's not something my body likes to do on this side. Find your breath. And then let's bring the leg back to center. Bring your knees back up. Walk the feet back to the edges of your mat one more time. Let the knees come meet towards the middle, so you're making kind of a pyramid. And just let your body sort of reset here before we move into our final pose for Shavasana. And today I think I'd recommend that we take our Shavasana Put the feet together and the knees wide open. Tadasana form. Let your back feel wide across the floor. Spread your shoulder blades. Palms come up. Rotate your elbows under a little bit. Start to relax into the floor and let the floor support you. Let go of any tension or strain. Let go of any tightness in your jaw or in your hips, or anywhere else. Just let your mind focus on your breath and the benefits of your practice. Whenever you're ready, you can guide yourself onto whatever side feels best. Stay there as long as you like, and then join me in a seat. Hands at the heart center. Or you can stay in Tadasana. Thank each of you for practicing with me this morning. I hope you have a beautiful weekend and nice Easter tomorrow. Namaste.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.